Groovy, man.
Hey, bro.
Here we are in the pre-show, man.
I'm
I've got the cow to one side, the space alien to the other, like man, and I've got the shark over here.
This is Rowan.
That's Rowan.
This is Aubrey.
Oh, this is Aubrey. That's Rowan. Aubrey is Rowan's friend, man. And then we got the little space alien just with her hair.
I will bite you.
You all look fabulous, groovy,
You mess with the
and
cow,
far
you get
out.
the udders.
Mess with the cow, you get the udders. There you go. Don't be obscene back there.
I know, Dad, today I'm not short and I can actually see out of this cow costume. So last year I was too short and I couldn't see.
Yeah.
I look amazing.
Oh, there's my stream. I got to take that down.
High five, shark. Wow.
We got 2 minutes left before we go live on air, man.
You should like it on your life.
All right. It's the way we roll at the Roberts house.
You mess with the cow, you get the udders.
You mess with the cow, you get the udders. So says Ro.
Oh my
You
gosh.
mess with the alien, you get the death.
This is a Katy Perry video. Yeah. Ooh, ah, ah, ah. I don't know any of her songs.
Katy Perry doesn't
So-
do that.
Hey, guys. Hey, Daniel Ondra.
I'm so
Grumpy Stack. Good to see you.
mess with the
I grew
alien,
out
you
of-
get the death.
I grew a lot of hair, man. Since we talked this morning, yeah.
Oh my gosh. What are you doing?
All right, I got to make sure I'm all set up here,
Hillary.
ready to roll. Okay, guys, beat your hasty exit.
We're going to make a TikTok.
And you guys stay upstairs now, please. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, let's get this rolling. There's that one, and there's that one. There we go, man. Oh, like that. Oh, get everything at the right angle, man. So, Rainey just did my hair, and I can't do a thing with it. So there it is. There it is. I feel like I have to go out and like pick some weed, man. All right, we've got about 20 seconds before we go live, man. Upstairs now. Go. No, leave the kitty and go. Bye. Slam the door harder next time. All right, you guys ready? Here we go. We're going dark. We'll be back in a minute.
The Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent talk.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAlanRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, AlanRoberts.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Oh, hey, Roger. How you doing? I wondered. I don't have your name in my phone book. It's Roger telling me my mute is mic'd. My mic is muted. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. That's what I get for having a cow, a shark, and an alien in my office ahead of time. Yeah, baby shark party, man. All right. I'm going to get back to the radio. I'll see you over there. Thank you for calling me. All right. Bye. That was Roger Rabbit letting me know that my mic was muted. I was saying, I think I started just simply by saying groovy, man. Welcome to the show tonight, man. I won't keep that up all night. I promise. And welcome to the Intrepid radio program where I had my mic muted for the first about a minute. And so we're now live and we're rolling. I don't know how long my mic was muted, but we're not very deep into the show. So welcome to the program tonight. And said hello to y'all in the pre-show. And, I just got to say, my wife just conditioned my hair, try to make it look a little fuller. It turned it blue. It looks a little fuller than before. Or I'm, you know what? I kind of think I look a little like Robert Bauer in 1971 when he was with the band, man. So greetings, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Scotty Roberts, your host. This is the Intrepid radio program, and you're listening over on Odyssey Radio, ODYSY radio.com. Go on over, see all the goodness that's Odyssey Radio. Check them out, and you can hear this show in its audio format over there tonight, and tonight only, and I'll tell you why. We're also broadcasting in simulcast on video over on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. I think you have to put an @ symbol in front of Scotty Roberts now, which is really weird because that's usually for emails, but it's youtube.com /@Scotty Roberts. Let's see. Professor Bauer says, when this age you reach, look, there's a little Yoda quote. When this age you reach, when this age you look, this good you will not. When this age you reach, look, this good you will not. So, yes, there it is. And so she got my bandana on for me tonight and everything. And so John and Bree were over a little earlier, and we were trying on wigs. So don't read anything into that that you shouldn't. And I said, I'm wearing that on radio tonight. Now, if it were white, it would probably look really real. So Let's see what all is going on over there in the chat room. We got a topic tonight, and we're going to finish it up, but I got a couple of announcements to make first. First of all, hey, Carly. She's digging the blue hair. You like the blue hair, baby? Yeah. Groovy, huh? I think you should wear it more frequently. I think I should too. Look, I can even pull it back into a ponytail. Look at that. I got a big ponytail back there. So from the front, it looks like I just have a full head of hair. I could pull it into pigtails. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? So I thought I just looked like a nice 1969 to 1972 era stoner with this on tonight, even though it was blue. And I saw it it was kind of dark in the living room when I put it on. I looked in the mirror and it looked kind of good. Now it looks really blue. It's the lighting in here. So groovy, Carly, so groovy. So, what is that? Oh, behave. So, little blue in the beard would be perfect, says Sean Stroik. A red bandana would put your, and then I'd look like the American flag. All I need is a red bandana with stars on it, and the blue, and then do a little blue there. Anyway, so it was just it wasn't even an experiment. It was just goofing around, is all it was. And I said that looks good enough. Blue hair. Your name must be Karen. I'm no Karen. You know what I do need though? You need the extra, like the little lock to come over the front, and hang down. But I don't know if I can. It's not real hair, so it's a little funky to work with. But if you pull a strand up like this, see, you get the whole clump. So now it doesn't work. It doesn't work so much that way. There you go. No, it's not neat. Isn't this riveting radio, folks? Riveting radio with topics you can take to bed. So, boom. That's a little better. Now I look a little like I look a little like the modern Bible heroes in the movies. Now that they're learning that they weren't all clean shaven and nice neat beards and stuff. There you go. I'm a Bible hero. I'm Samson, or I'm King David in his old age. Let's see. I'll take this topic to bed. You bet you will. Blue hair and all. So there we go, folks. That's the groovy me. I'm groovy. And Andrea Mulnick said, I just read an article where someone made a Halloween Karen display and the city council made them take it down due to the complaints. Nice. Yeah, that's a woman who didn't get a lot of fans on TV, didn't she? Wow, if that didn't stick up like that, like something about Mary. Only it's different kind of hair gel for me. It's not going to work. So, you know what I'm going to do? I talked myself into wearing it all through the night tonight on this show and just going serious. Just deadpan. And tonight, folks, we're going to talk about Celtic mythology. We're going to take up where we left off last night, talking about gods and goddesses and some of the lesser-known gods and goddesses who have kind of an honorable mention because, you know what, the Druids, they didn't write anything down. They forbade it being written down. So there's lots of things we had to glean off of other areas and when other people later started writing those things down. And so we're going to jump into that and a few of the creatures tonight in Celtic mythology. And I could almost be Cuchulainn. He was a human that was deemed the hound of Cuchulainn. Now I can't think of the name, but Cuchulainn, a Celtic mythological character, and so I could be Cuchulainn. I got my hair all in the woad this morning, so it's all blue now. It's like got a little crazy with the woad. So there you go. We're having trouble streaming to Facebook, says the announcement that just came out. This may be an issue on Facebook's end. Is it possible the stream was ended or deleted on Facebook? We'll keep trying and let you know if it's resolved. please check Facebook to ensure the stream looks okay. Yeah, let's do that, folks. Anybody want to go look at the Facebook stream and find out what's going on over there and report back into me? Let me know if the stream is playing on my Facebook page or yours, if you want to call it up. So, or just remove this destination from the broadcast and re-add it. I could do that, but it's here. Let's go view it on Facebook. Open link in a new tab. Let's see what's going on. You're about to view a broadcast on Facebook. Go to news feed. Content isn't available right now, so it says. That's very interesting. Well, Facebook always has a few problems when you try to upload the pre-show or well, it's playing on Facebook right now. I'm watching it. So I see it playing. There's Marty Wallen is watching over there. So let me get back to my screen. And where the hell is it? Right there. All right. So we'll just let it go. And it's blocking my view. There we go. All right. So how is everybody tonight? Let's get into Celtic mythology. Let's talk about that. Oh, wait. But first, I have to make my announcement that I haven't made. This, folks, will be the final broadcast that we do on Odyssey Radio. It's been a long run, 3.5 years with Odyssey Radio. And I am now going to shift rather seamlessly to a new network starting on Monday. And so tonight's the final broadcast on Odyssey. Tomorrow night, we're going to be, hopefully our internet holds up out there. Rainey and I are going to be doing the ghost hunting event at the Renaissance Festival grounds at the Phantom's Feast, like we do every year. And so we'll try to do some live streaming from there right around the beginning of this show, but there will be no official show going on. So we'll try to do a live stream to either Facebook or YouTube or both. We'll see if we can get it set up and make that work. So that's tomorrow night. Hey, Rainey. There's my lovely wife. I told you woad was the wrong color for me. But it does enhance my eyes. See? Blue goes good with bloodshot. Anyway, so good to have you here, wife. It's nice to see Rainey come in and watch the show and say, hey, Rainey. And there it is. She said, hey, Scotty. That's my wife saying hi to me. Hey, beautiful. All right. So I'm moving to Russ Haslage, who used to own Odyssey Radio before Ron Phillips bought it out. And so he was the owner of Odyssey up until about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. And so now he's launched a new radio network. And it's if you saw my post over on Facebook, I put up a link to that. It's Subspace Radio, and it's subspace.radio is where his website, .radio instead of .com. So that's where we'll be broadcasting in audio, but we'll still be broadcasting right here on the YouTube channel. And so nothing's going to seem like it's changed, except just the source for the audio. Hey, Ken Bellos, that hair is you. Ah, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I can hear him saying, hell yeah, that hair's you. And so yeah, it is me. It matches my eyes. Your red scarf matches your eyes. You know, remember that old song from the 20s? Any of you? Anyone? 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 Your red scarf matches your eyes. Oh, the singer does it like this. Your red scarf matches your eyes. You close your cover before striking. Mama made him ship in the blues or something. Loving you has made me bananas. That's how the song goes. It's an old song. Hey, Brianna Learman. I had to pop on and see if he actually did it, she said. I actually did it. Yes. Next time you come over, bring a different conditioner. I think this one doesn't work as well. So I will probably take this off at some point as soon as I'm done being serious. So starting Monday, we're on a new network. And I don't think you'll notice any difference unless you're listening at Odyssey. If you want to hear this show, you'll have to come over. If you're just listening, you'll have to come over to subspace.radio. And it'll be playing live at 9 Central Standard Time. And but you'll still catch us here. We'll be right here. Nothing will have changed here on YouTube. So we can be a different color next time. Yeah, let's do a different color. I like that idea. So let's do that. Surprise me next time. So maybe bright, not fuchsia, but like bright fire engine red. I think that would be good. But anyway, I like this wig. It's kind of how my hair looked back in the early 70s for a few days. I had a ponytail back then, but my hair was never quite this long. It was just a little shorter, but I had a ponytail in the back like that, you know. And I didn't wear bandanas. So what side is that on? I'm looking at the mirror reflection here in my monitor. So I know this is riveting radio, but there we go. All right, folks. Shall we get on with it? Hey, Matthew Sainsbury and Rudy Kessler. Rudy, I wanted to come to the show dressed like you tonight. And this is what ended up. So there I've got my hero's lock hanging over the front, like I don't know who, Conan the Barbarian or something. There we go. Here, wait. There we are. All right, let's get into Celtic mythology, shall we? Yes, please, said Sarah Yusuf. She's dying for Celtic mythology tonight. So we left off last night. We were talking, remember, we talked about the Tuatha. We talked about the Tuatha De Nan. We talked about the other world. We talked about the 4 treasures. We talked about, started getting into the Celtic gods and the goddesses. We covered Angus Og. And by the way, keep in mind that the information about the Celtic gods and goddesses is sparse because the Druids had a oral tradition only. It was oral only, folks. And so there was none of this written down, not for many, many centuries after the fact. And so you only get a few things here that were passed down in oral tradition. So Angus Og, Brigid or Brigid. We've got Dagda and Danu and Eru, Banba and Fadla and Lug and Maka and Mananan Machlir. And those were the ones that we were talking about. Then we got into the Morrigan Badabnim. I don't know how to pronounce Badab. I think it's just Bab. And then we've got these honorable mentions from the lesser known gods at the time. We talked about Arwen, or Aaron. I think it's just pronounced, probably spelled, it sounds like Aaron, Arawn, Aaron. And then we get to Cailleach, who we did not get to last night, the goddess of winter. Cailleach, as well as a very powerful witch. She's said to control the harshness and the duration of winter. And much like the current tradition of Groundhog's Day, the Celtic people paid special attention to the weather during Imbolc. If the weather was wet and miserable, it was said that the winter would be coming to a close. Now, Cailleach was staying in her new home. She no longer needed her firewood to keep her warm. And if the weather was warm, bright and sunny, the winter would continue on for several more weeks. After all, Cailleach would need pleasant weather to walk and to keep herself warm through the remainder of the winter. So she was kind of like the precursor to the groundhog. So probably not connected, but similar mythology behind them both. You don't think of Groundhog Day as being a mythological time, but it is. Then we have Caradwin or Ceridwen. And there is some debate as to whether this goddess was a sorceress or a goddess. And for most modern pagans, it's agreed that she's one of the most powerful underworld goddesses. And with close association to this herbal practice and astrology. And Ceridwen is the keeper of the cauldron of knowledge. And she rules over the realms of inspiration and rebirth. And she's powerful in all things magic, ranging from shape-shifting to poetry to fertility and to rebirth. Then you have Cernunnos. Cernunnos ruled over the dominion of the world, of the wild. He was known by many names and was commonly known as the Horned God, like Herne the Hunter, and due to his habit of wearing a set of stag's antlers on his head. And when the Christian people reached Ireland and began their work recording and occasionally altering the stories of the Celtic pagans, Cernunnos began to be associated with the devil because of the horns and all that. And sometimes even outright called the Antichrist. And his stories are limited and scattered, but we do know that he was worshipped for his relationship with nature and the wildness of the animals and the ecosystems that he inhabited. Interesting God. Then there is Cian. He was a member of the Tuatha De Danann, and his most prominent stories, I don't know where the list suddenly came from, his most prominent stories surrounding his magical cow called Glas Goibnian. I don't pronounce Gaelic well. It's like looking at a Welsh street sign and trying to read it. Ghoibhneann. Goibnian. And that's probably not how it is even pronounced. It's probably pronounced Gonan, for all I know. But Glas Gonan, we'll call him that. The cow, and Rowan was here earlier in her cow outfit, giving you some idea of what Cian may have looked like. Utterly fantastical. You see what I did there. And so his cow never ran dry. She was his most prized possession. And the Fomorian Balor was determined to steal the cow. And upon his success in stealing the cow, began the prophecy. He unknowingly began the prophecy that would lead to his death. Cian and Balor's daughter, Eithne, fell in love, conceiving the child Lug, who we talked about last night, who would be Balor's ultimate undoing. So these are the little known facts we know about these gods. Cleodna, Cliodhna, Cleodhna, was the goddess of love and beauty. But her legends became as a double-edged sword. Not only was she the most beautiful being to walk among the Tuatha De Danann, followed by 3 birds all the time, whose songs would cure any ailment, she was known as the Queen of the Banshee. She was unfazed by the lives and passings of mortals, luring sailors to their death in shipwrecks as they attempted to reach her. It was Manannán mac Lir who ultimately ended her reign of terror on mortal sailors, sweeping her away with a magical wave. And to this day, every 9th wave that comes in from the sea is known as Cleodhna's wave, the most powerful of the set. Isn't that interesting? So, hey, Steve Clark, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. Sounds like sirens. It does. Then there is Eithne. She wasn't a traditional goddess. She was the daughter of the Fomorian Balor and brought forth the birth of Lug, who is considered really important among the pantheon of Celtic gods. And this is her most prominent story, her wooing and the conception of a child with Cian. Then there's Midir. Midir. She's a lower tier lord, or he is a lower tier lord, thought to have created the lakes and the rivers of Ireland. He's the son of Dagda, prominently known for taking the first wife of King Eochaid, Etain. The first wife of the king Eochaid, Etain. Etain was not aware of her fairy lineage. Though herself human, she was married to the king. She had an affair with Midir, sending his wife into a rage, resulting in Etain being changed into a butterfly to be swallowed by a mortal, so that she could be her fairy background. Well, I think they got a little mixed up on how biology works when they got into these mythologies, but there you go. So it's like Zeus eating his children. So while Midir is cunning, often associated with birds, Midir has a limited background. For further information, you really have to dig into old texts about her, the subsequent texts that were written about her. Barbie D says, okay, is it my eyes or does Scotty have blue hair? What? So next we have Taranis. The name Taranis literally translates to thunder. And as such, Taranis is the god of thunder, not dissimilar to Thor of the Norse mythological characters. And he's one of the many Celtic gods that doesn't have a large amount of history and information that's readily available about him. And he had an association not only to storms, but also to sacred wheels. Still, there's much information that we're left without about Taranis. It's not like Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's Taranis, Taranis. We know that he's often depicted wielding a bolt of lightning. And most of what we know of Taranis is due to the similarities to the Roman god Jupiter, who also wielded a lightning bolt. So there you have it. There's the gods in light. And there's more gods than that, but there's the Celtic gods in light over the last 2 nights. And we're going to get into some of the creatures now. But I feel it's time because my neck is a little itchy with this long hair falling back on it. We're just going to get this off of here tonight. There we go. Whew. Wow. I know I broke the facade. We were going for suspension of reality there, and now I've destroyed the illusion. I am now no longer blue-haired or hippie. So there. Whew. Wow. Let me get my hair feeling, my scalp back to normal. Stimulate it a little bit. Holy cats. All right. Let's move on, shall we? It's interesting how many gods between the mythologies are similar. It's very true. I think they all had common sources. And that's one way to tell. You've got this commonality that is shared between a lot of the old pantheons of gods. Only the Celtic gods came long before, thousands of years before the Greek gods or the Roman gods. So you can see who stole from who is something worth looking into and talking about. But of course, this series I'm doing is the Celtic Mythology Light. We're just kind of hitting on it to give you a basis for their mythology and an understanding of who these people were. So let's look at the Celtic creatures now. These are really fascinating, and their myths that go along with them. And Celtic mythological creatures have a variety of origins. Some come from urban legends, like the Abertach, which has no specific origin of how it became the creature that it is. Others are cryptids, creatures that are truly believed to exist, but have never been captured or provided a significant amount of scientific evidence to their existence. Moreover, the mythic creatures that are described have a multitude of origins. Some come from the pagan myths prior to Christian influence, while others were created in the melding of Celtic pagan belief and Christianity as it spread all over Ireland. No matter the origin, each plays a role in the development of the Celtic mythology, as well as the Celtic culture and their beliefs. So let's go through some of these. Abertach, which we just mentioned. Unlike most mythical creatures of Celtic lore, Abertach doesn't originate in the world of the fairy, but from the human world. The Irish tell of the Neamarbab. Neam, Neamhmarbh. Sounds very Welsh, doesn't it? It's Gaelic. And I don't know how to pronounce it, but the Neamarb, the Celtic vampire. So while many believe that the vampire tales originated with Vlad the Impaler, no, not so. Some feel that the vampire chieftain Abhartach was the source of the original mythology. And little is known about the chieftain, except for how heavily he was disliked by his clan and the clans surrounding him. Abertach was known as a vile and jealous man, which would become his undoing. Climbing from his castle window, Abertach attempted to catch his wife in the throes of passion with another man. Instead, he fell to his death, his body not found until the following day. His subjects were relieved, quickly burying the body. So, hi. What you doing? Oh, okay. I figured.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug. So, sorry for that little interlude, folks. Come around here.
I don't even know what I look
I want you. I know what you look like. I wouldn't invite you if you were a hag.
Hi.
Hi, beautiful. How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing.
Good.
I'm going upstairs though because it's cold.
All right. Thanks for joining the radio show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. There's my lovely wife, Rainey. So here we go. All right. Let me get back to where I was before I was so rudely interrupted. You shut up. So his body was found the next day, and his subjects were relieved. They quickly buried the body so they could be rid of him. And since he was a chieftain, he was accustomed to bury him standing in respect of his position. And that evening, the clan was horrified to see Abertach standing before them with a bowl. And he demanded that the bowl be filled by them, slicing their wrists to give him what he asked. Once the bowl was filled and his blood hunger was satisfied, Abertach left. And the following morning, the clan raced to the neighboring clan, telling the chieftain Catherine that their story and begging for his help. Catherine was the name, by the way, yes. And the chieftain agreed. And so Catherine met the people after dark, waiting for Abertach to reappear. And when he arrived, Catherine, and it's Catherine, not Catherine, Chatra, and I spelled it wrong the first way. I don't know, it's not thinking when you're writing. And so Catherine flew forward, killing the Neamarb. Then Abertach was again buried, standing in his grave. So yet again, Abertach reappeared with his bowl, demanding the blood of his subjects. So seeing him appear again sent Catherine into a rage, and he attacked, slaying the creature and burying him in a grave far away from his clan. And the following night, Abertach reappeared. Catherine ran out of ideas and consulted with a local saint, Eogan, and he asked the saint how it would be possible to kill what was already dead. That's kind of creepy when you think about that, isn't that? So Eogan spent many hours in prayer and deliberation with his God, and when he returned, he instructed Catherine to pierce Abertach's heart with a weapon made from a yew branch, and then bury the creature face down. Catherine would then have to cover the grave in ash thorns and branches and place a slab of stone over the burial site to keep the beast from reemerging. This was the only method that kept Abertach from rising again. So goes the myth. So this is thought to be one of the earliest vampiric tales that was out there. And the remedy drive a stake through his heart. It's interesting stuff. Now we go to AOC. AOS space capital SI. AOC. AOC. So AOC is sometimes referred to as the Sidhe. Sidhe is the way that's spelled. That shows you Gaelic again. Sidhe goes Sidhe? No, it's pronounced she or she. The banshee comes from that. The fae, the fairy folk. He's referred to as she. They were a race of fairy people and supernatural creatures, the AOC. Some sources suggest that they were created by the Tuatha De Danann, while other sources suggest that they were the surviving Tuatha De Danann after the Milesian battles. And the term AOC means the people of the mounds. Now remember when we talked about the Tuatha De Danann? What happened to them? They receded into the hollow hills and the fairy mounds, and it became known more as the elven folk after that time. So the Tuatha De Danann had retreated beneath the ground after being defeated, and their best known source of these fairy people. And so the AOC operate with their own set of rules and customs. They're given offerings to keep them happy. You don't want to piss off the AOC. They're given these offerings, and as long as you don't offend or insult them, they can be fierce protectors and offer many blessings. And some of the AOC are considered ethereally beautiful, typically associated with the Seelie court, while others are hideous and vile, associated with the Unseelie court. And so no matter which court they hail from, the AOC tend to be mischievous creatures and they're ferocious guardians. So if you're going to the spirit world looking for help, you want to get the AOC on your side, which is what I would do. So there you go. I'm just looking at some of the comments. There you go. Interesting conversation going on if you're not here now. So I think I must not be playing on the radio station, but I'm going to leave the radio connection up just in case. But I think that's just happening because I'm done. I resigned as of today. So if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, we are, folks, moving this program over to subspace.radio, Russ Haslage's radio network. And that's where we're going to be broadcasting coming Monday. And tomorrow night, we're not doing a show, but we are doing a live feed when we can get it. Hopefully the internet is good out there, from our ghost hunt at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival grounds. And so that's where we'll be at this time tomorrow night. And so just stay tuned. If we're not there right at 9:00, we'll try to come on a little earlier, let you know what's going on. So if you're not hearing us over on Odyssey Radio, it could be because I resigned today and they just didn't have the stream go through tonight, which is possible. Let's see. They said, good for me, wish me good luck, and thank me for the time I was on over at Odyssey. But we might not be on right now. So said a report that came in. Just saying, how come you're not on Odyssey? So, all right, let's move back into the Celts. And so now, as I just mentioned, the Seelie court and the Unseelie court. Let's give you a little definition of who they were. The Seelie court of fairy is typically viewed as the benevolent court, the good guys, the fairies with the white hats. While they could still be dangerous when insulted, they were the fairy people that would help humans, as well as being willing to seek help from mortals. They find joy in mischief. While they tend to be kind to humans, they don't always recognize when their pranks and tricks can become harmful. Like in my own book, The Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare, looking for a little girl stolen by the fairy folk because they loved her. They found her beautiful and loved her. and wanted to take her home with them to Tir na Nog. And so while they are not really harmful, they could be harmful at times because their pranks and tricks became harmful, and they didn't even recognize that. Totally different realm. So that's the Seelie Court. Now the Unseelie Court. The Unseelie Court of Fairy is the domain of the dark and evil fairy creatures. Typically, fairy of this court are malevolent with their mischief. Their tricks are used to cause mortals harm or even death. And then you've got the Banshee. Of the fairy folk in Celtic culture, the Banshee is most well known by the word itself all over the world. The Banshee scream is the siren song of the inevitable death that's just around the corner. According to some legends, only those of pure or near pure Celtic descent will hear the wail of the Banshee as she warns them of their own death. But it does appear to depend on the type of Banshee that you encounter. The Banshee legend goes back to the 8th century, referring to women known as keeners, when you keen out at the death of a great Irish warrior. These professional mourners accepted payments in alcohol in exchange for beautiful, sorrow-filled songs sung in honor of a loved one or a beloved community member passing on. You know, it sounds like a lot of musicians I know. In exchange for some songs on your stage, I'll take some alcohol. So due to their preferred payment method, many were disregarded as sinful women, doomed to become the Banshee in the mist. And so there appeared to be several forms of the Banshee, depending on which Celtic origin you reference. The Banshee is almost always a woman. Sometimes she was young, with red or silvery hair, and she was wearing a white dress or perhaps a shroud over her hair and her face. She may appear as an old wizened woman with long gray hair and terrifying red eyes in a black or green dress. In other renditions, she appears as a headless woman, naked from the waist up, holding a bowl of blood to the victim. No matter which version you encounter, it's said that if you look directly at the Banshee, she vanishes into a mist. Poof. And the sound of birds' wings echoing through the night. The Banshee's appearance primarily has to do with her relationship with her family and her life, as well as the circumstances of her death. If she dies with loving relationships with her family, she appears to them as a beautiful woman, singing a sorrowful song of concern and love for the one that she warns. If the relationship was hateful or abusive, she appears as a twisted, horrific being, her song sounding like a celebration for the impending death. And if she were young when she'd been murdered, a Banshee would show itself as a horrible, terrifying old woman with eyes the color of blood, filled with rage and filled with hate. Her mouth never closes, always screaming, a tormenting scream. The Banshee who lived tormented lives come back vengefully, some even crossing the boundary from being a warning that death is nearby to becoming the cause of death itself. These are the Banshee that actively seek victims, tormenting them with their horrible screaming and wailing until they either lose their sanity or kill themselves. That's the Banshee. We have more. We're going to go on to next time we're on and we finish this Celtic series. We won't finish it in one episode. We'll carry on for a few more, and we'll have things spotted in between to break any monotony you might feel because of it. When we get to the captain's cabin, when we were talking about the Banshee, those of you who are familiar with the rollicking adventures of Tam O'Hare, my illustrated book, I had started writing a sequel to that book, and I thought it was gone forever. Just today, on a disc this afternoon, I found an old Word file that had the first the opening and the beginning of the chapter 1. If you want to hear it, stick around for the Captain's Cabin. Take a few minutes to read it, but it talks about it's the book itself is entitled Tam O'Hare and the Banshee of Ballyglenmorrow. Ooh, Ballyglenmorrow. And it goes along with the old legends of the Banshee, that if you could steal the silver comb of a banshee, because many times she's seen sitting creekside with a bloody garment on, combing her hair with her silver comb. And if you happen to take that comb or steal that comb from the banshee, that banshee would haunt your family until it was returned. And so this story with Tam O'Hare starts with a good old friend of his whose great-grandfather had stolen the silver comb of a banshee. And it is now upon him to find this silver comb, which has been missing for 2 generations, and return it. If you return it to the banshee, the place where it was stolen, the curse would be lifted. And so this is a book that takes them around the world, Tam O'Hare and his pirate crew, and this friend of his. They're both aristocrats, by the way, even though Tam's a swashbuckling pirate. And it takes them all the way around the world to the courts of China in 1500s, in about 1545 AD. And that's where they find the silver comb. And the rest is the action of the story that I can't give away. So we'll read a little bit about that tonight. Andrea says there's an interesting myth involving kelpies and a Birdle that controls them. And MacGregor. Oh, that's very interesting. It's between Andrea and I. She was once married to the old cowboy that we were buying the ranch from. And he was a MacGregor. And Mick Gregor is Irish. Mac Gregor is Scottish. That's interesting, Andrea. So stick around, Sean Stroik, and we'll do it. Barbie D, good to see you. We're going to wrap up this show. We technically have about 2 minutes before we have to go out from this show. And I didn't want to get into another section of Celtic mythology or start reading that little segment. It's a short segment, the opening of that book. But I'm excited about it because I haven't read it myself in several years. I thought it was gone, and I found it on a disc, buried on a disc. So we'll read that in a few minutes when we come back for the Captain's Cabin. For those of you listening tonight, remember, as of tonight, this is our last night on Odyssey Radio. I think it was supposed to be my last night. I sent resignation and said tonight will be my last night. And we're moving over to subspace.radio is where you'll find us. That's also through Russ Haslage, who used to own the Odyssey Radio. And he also is the owner of TrekFederation.com, big Star Trek organization that he founded. And they also do community outreach and all of that. And they've got a great store and great stuff going on at his shop out in Ohio. So if you're anywhere near the Columbus area, I think it's Columbus. It's not Cincinnati, I know. You can look up his shop, Trek Federation. And so that's whose station we'll be on now. So if you want to hear the audio only, you can tune into the radio station at subspace.radio. And we'll still be right here on this stage, on this channel, here in YouTube, and also on my Facebook page. This is where we will be. And by the way, it does say I'm connected over there, so we must be okay. This is where you'll find us on YouTube. So you can come and join the chat room, same as always. So everyone, I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. And to the radio audience, I'm going to say goodnight. And to those of you left, we'll start the Captain's Cabin momentarily. So live long and prosper.
join us every weeknight at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. The Intrepid radio program, a Scotty Roberts Productions broadcast.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
Well, ahoy, mates. Welcome to the Captain's Cabin. R. Yeah, this is it, the after show, the post show, the time after the show when we let our hair down a little bit or take it off completely. So I want to thank you all for coming on in. And Grumpy Stack, if you're not a tracker, you can get out of here. You can take a powder. I don't want no non-trackies in here. So, anyway, yes, Russ, I doubt Russ doesn't like you. I doubt that. He doesn't have any reason not to like you unless you've given him a reason to not like you. If you've given him a reason to not like you, maybe that's what it is. Hey, look at my new sign, by the way. I don't know where I'm going to put that up, but that's going to go here in the office. That's got that little three-dimensional crown up on top, a little brass crown or something. There you go. Now freak out and panic. Now panic and freak out. There you go. Just saw that out of the corner of my eye as I was looking. That's why I wanted to point it out to you. So Doug Stack, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Mechanics. I'm out, yo. Just like Odyssey, I'm outie 5,000. You're out 5,000 a day? Gross. That kind of sucks. What'd you do? I don't even have that much to my name. How about that? I got enough to pay the month, and that's about it. So let's see, I can work on, but that's changing. You know, we do work. I work. I've never heard of the Star Trek Wars. Is it popular? Grumpy, don't give me that BS. That B is in B, S is in S. So, Audi 5,000. Oh, yeah. I don't know what the context is, but cool. So, an Audi 5000. Well, here, I'm going to get to the thing. The thing, man, the thing. I know why Joe Biden's eyes are always squinty now. Let's see, Joe Biden is technically, he's 78 years old, which makes him roughly, believe it or not, he's only 16 years older than I am. Now, you look at him from 5 years ago, his eyes weren't as squinty. There's times I catch myself on the monitor and I'm like this. I'm squinting. It's because my eyes are tired. And I have to go, oh, let me open my eyes a little bit. Oh, man. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there you go. Need to go soak in a hot shower or something. So, no, you kicked me out because I'm not a track star. Yeah, get out of here. What are you still doing talking? Get out of here. Grumpy stack. Let's see. Grumpy, stay for the reading. Don't go away. There's Uncle Dave. I'm in a pub and I can't hear a thing, but I can read the chat. Can you read my lips, Uncle Dave? I'm talking to you right now. I mean, let's go. What are you doing in a pub instead of being here? He's at his Masonic thing. So let's do this. Now, most of you here are familiar with my book, The Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare. And you can, if you're not familiar with it, just to familiarize yourself with it, you can go to the website, tamohare.com. I felt like I misspelled that. I did. I put Yam O'Hare. tamohare.com. All right. If you want, StreamYard has lost access to your Facebook account. Click here to reconnect. I don't think we need to. We'll just turn that off for now. Click off there and there. There we go. Oh, that was the Odyssey Radio Facebook account. Okay. That makes sense. So, Scotty says he loves you, Dave. Says Susie Q. Thanks, Susie. Does Dave think I don't love him? Anyway, go to tamohare.com and you can see more about the book. And thank you, Andrea. It was published originally. The publisher, Morgan James, wanted to publish that book in black and white because it was too expensive to do in color. And of course, I did all these glorious color paintings. So I was a little disappointed that they wanted to go only black and white. And so it's like taking a black and white photograph when you have a black and white film in your camera. Something like that. For those of you who are millennials or younger, film is that stuff we used to take pictures on. There was no digital at one time. So it was all printed in black and white, grayscaled, with a color cover. Now, I thought that really was not very good for the book because the color was really sold the illustrations on an illustrated book. But the publisher, it said it did well enough that they re-released it in hardcover, but still in black and white. So Tam O'Hare came out in hardcover, and those all sold out. I think if I'm lucky, I have one stashed somewhere. Otherwise, it's a rare commodity to find. What wouldn't let you post with the word spelled correctly? What did I miss? Let's see. Dave Potter, why do girls feel the need to scream? I can't even hear the bad karaoke. LOL. Very nice. Roger says Trek Trannies would be a popular adaptation of the series in today's world. Yeah, wouldn't it though? I wouldn't watch it. Not interesting to me. I don't care. So don't judge me. I just don't care. It's not my thing. So Tam O'Hare was released in black and white. It was several years later, about 10 years later, I decided to re-release the book. So I bought the publishing rights from my publisher. I own the rights to the story. They own the rights to publishing the story. And so I made some changes and I bought out the rights and I republished Tam O'Hare and I republished it in color. And that's the book that you can get now. If you go to tamohare.com and click on the big picture on the front, I think that's what it takes you to that. So that's the history of Tam O'Hare. And so not long after the first book came out, let me amend that. Quite a while after the first book came out, now that I think about it, it was at least 10 years. I said, I want to write a sequel to this book. And not really a sequel, just another book about Tam O'Hare. My original agent had asked me, how many Tam O'Hare stories do you have? I said, I got about a dozen of them bouncing around in my head. And the next one I started to write was Tam O'Hare and the Banshee of Ballyglenmorrow. And that's the little, I've only got a little segment of it that I'll read for you. And let's see if I can find it. Yeah, it's right here. I'm going to blow this up a little bit. Nah, I'm going to put on my glasses. That's all I'll do. I'm not going to mess with it. All right. You guys ready for a little Tam O'Hare fare? Let's see. Let me find that channel again. So here we go. Now, Tam O'Hare doesn't even appear in what I've written so far. It's setting the stage. Remember, the story is about the Banshee, and the Banshee whose comb was stolen by the great-grandfather of the friend of Tam O'Hare. And we don't even get into talking about that until the second chapter, but that's all missing. I've still got this little portion. So here we go. You guys ready? Here's how the book begins, at least so far, if I ever pick it up again. And this is Tam O'Hare and the Banshee of Ballyglenmorrow. Now, I don't know. I haven't read this since I found it. I don't know if it's edited. I don't know if I went through and edited it. If it's clunky, it's probably because it's a first draft. So let's see what we got here. Walter, wake now. Walter O'Core's eyes snapped open before the echo of the whispered command had barely faded from his ears. He sat up, throwing his still-sandaled feet over the side of the bed, expecting to find Father Fitzsimmons standing there. But his cell was empty and dark. The voice came more frequently these days, and he had nearly grown accustomed to it, in the same way that one grows accustomed to a deeply embedded thorn in the sole of the foot. Tonight, however, the disembodied words sent a bristling shiver from the base of his neck and down his back, nearly to the tips of his toes. He dared not mention it to the brothers, and only hinted at it to the other novices. He did not want them to think him mad, or worse, in league with some evil spirit who spoke to him from the netherworld. For comfort's sake, he assured himself it was the voice of an angel. His angel, sent from God to watch over him since he'd come to this place. Oh, how he missed his family. Only a few hours earlier, he had lain atop his blanket without removing his rough homespun robe, whose rope belt had twisted uncomfortably around his waist during his brief slumber. He had not intended to fall asleep, but as with most young hares his age, he was out cold within minutes of his head touching his pillow, and now he struggled to shake off the hard sleep that had engulfed him so quickly and thoroughly. He stood to his feet and tugged at the folds of his brown cassock, managing some semblance of reshovelment. He could just as easily have untied and reknotted the rope belt, but why go to all that trouble? He climbed atop his bed to reach the room's solitary window high in the wall and pulled back the heavy cloth covering, letting in a shaft of white light from the full moon that had risen above the tree line. The night sky was crisp and clear, but the air was heavy and tempestuous. heady and tempestuous. Leafless, gnarled branches. I lost my place. He stood to his feet and tugged at the folds and so on. He climbed atop his bed to reach the room's solitary window high in the wall and pulled back the heavy cloth covering, letting the shaft of white light from the full moon that had risen above the tree line. The night sky was crisp and clear, but the air was heady and tempestuous. Leafless, gnarled branches, black against the silvery moonlit sky, bent and swayed, groaning in baritone harmony with the wailing autumn wind. Pale yellow grasses swept along the hillside in undulant waves, a flaxen surf breaking against the rocky crags jutting heavenward at the base of Slowy Core's massive green mound. Walter could see the moonlight shattering against the tumbling mountain stream, which broke free of its rocky bed, spraying into hoary white caps that would bring even the most stalwart of creatures pause before attempting to ford. The night seemed electrified. The air bore a Novemberine crispness that seemed out of season this early in the harvest. Shuffling footsteps in the hall outside and a sharp single knock on his door signaled Walter to make ready for the night's clandestine endeavors. He let the window covering fall back into place as he hopped down to the floor, and everyone knew why. But rather than speak of it aloud, they all silently huddled closer on the small, something's missing. Something's missing. I just skipped way ahead in this. Let's see. I'm missing a paragraph in here. He hopped down from the bed to the floor. If I remember correctly, he was one of the brothers at the monastery that led him out into a secret door that would let him outside. And he was running to meet a secret meeting. And he gets there, and all these, that's a little distressing that that's missing. But all these monks are standing around a fire that had been lit. There was a whole section here that's missing right now. See, I didn't read this ahead of time. But there was the priest, the head priest, Father Fitzsimmons, was going to speak some incantations over a small silver box that was sitting on the top of a tree stump near the center of this ring of candles and fire and torches. And this is all that's missing on this right now. Maybe it is missing. A lot of this is missing. Because the paragraph picks up. He's standing, Father Fitzsimmons is there, Walter is there, sneaking into the circle, and all these monks are standing around in a circle, looking at what's going on with Father Fitzsimmons in the little box. And it picks up right here. The next paragraph says, and everyone knew why. Don't know what it's referencing exactly there. Despite having written it myself, it was a long time ago. But rather than speak of it aloud, they all silently huddled closer on the small, hastily constructed stone altar, pulling the folds of their brown homespun wooled robes tightly about them. A single oiled torch had been thrust into the ground alongside the pile of stones, the guttering flame dancing on the wisps of wind that forced their way between the closely encircled troop. Loosening the tattered belt of his garment, a stout, husky bear, whiskers whitened from the tips of his eyebrows, down around the corners of his mouth, and off the end of his chin, reached inside his coarse woven robe and pulled out a small wooden box with corner pieces of tarnished silver, which cast reflective flickers of the torch's flame around the ring of holy beasts. Father Fitzsimmons wrapped his giant paws tightly around the box and drew it to his lips as if to place a kiss on its patinaed wood. He held it tightly, so close against his pursed lips, his eyes closed in deep, agonizing contemplation. So many years had passed since these things had been done. So many lives had come and gone, and now, for him, a beast of the cloth, a priest, to engage in such ritual. It was heresy. The stuff that sent so many to the stake to burn so many times before. Yet Father Fitzsimmons understood the task at hand. He knew that it needed to be done. Had not the bishop sent for him to under the cover of night and implored him to perform this deed? And had he not also warned him that the church would never sanction this act publicly, were it to become known? Father Fitzsimmons knew that there were the mysteries of this night's sacrilege, were the mysteries of this night's sacrilege ever to become known, the bishop would disavow any knowledge of his actions and his existence and excommunicate him from the fold for the good of the church and the salvation of Fitzsimmons' soul. The old bear opened his eyes, nearly overwhelmed with his anxiety. He stooped forward a bit and placed the small box somewhat precariously atop the ramshackle stone altar. He let his paws hover momentarily over the box, as if he were about to reconsider the entire thing. "Brother," whispered a robed badger from across the tight circle. "Brother James." Father Fitzsimmons looked at his brother priest and slowly nodded, dropping one arm to his side, leaving his left paw poised above the box and the altar. He spoke in calm resolve. "Ut quod must existo artificius, must existo universa." "Must existo universa," did the rest of the holy beasts replied, as if reciting a responsive reading, as they each extended their paws to meet his in the center of the circle. It must be completed, indeed. 7 in the circle, 7 to break the spell, 7 paws extending inward around the ring, 7 spokes of a wheel joined above the stone altar and the small wooden box. 4 were priests, 2 monks, and 1 young hare, who was novice to Father Fitzsimmons, Walter O'Core by name, youngest heir to Cormac O'Core, Lord of Ballyglenmorrow. It was he who was at the very heart of this night's doings. He, the last-born son of O'Core, promised to the church in hopes of recanting the wicked deeds that had spawned the evil of 3 generations past. An unwitting offering to God he was, little Walter. His presence here amongst these holiest of brethren would not be were he not so. And that's all I have. That's all that exists of this story right now. So, there you go. Tam O'Hare and the Banshee of Ballyglenmorrow. Grumpy Stack said, "Whomever wrote this tale sounds very uncredentialed." I have it on good authority. He has no credentials at all. Why, he doesn't even have a driver's license in his wallet. It's just his passport card. So that's how uncredentialed he is. So Sean Stroik says, "Awesome, Southwest Missouri." You know, I'm going backwards. Let's see. Let me go back to where we started. Found a creepy old song today called "Ghost Memory," said Pearson Castile. Andrea says, "I have a friend that has gotten to open for George Strait. She has some good stuff." Sean Stroik says, "Willie Nelson's son sounds just like his daddy." Oh, yeah. What was, I used to do a pretty good Willie Nelson impression. I know you're dying to hear it. I can't remember the song I used to do. I was singing, my heroes have always been cowboys. I have to get into it, so I haven't. I'll get into it some night, and I'll do Willie Nelson for you. I might have to smoke a little weed first, but there you go. Susie Q says good night to everybody. Good night, Susie Q. Wished I'd seen King George. Who is she? Says Sean Stroik. I have no idea, dude. King George sounds like a dude to me, but what do I know? Who is this Tam Obama dude? Who wrote this stuff? Grumpy, are you drinking tonight or something? You're just full of them tonight. Let's see. Andrea, I've heard of your friend, says Michelle Cannon-Free. And I know her from before the Minnesota Horse Expo, says Andrea. We both exhibited there. That's pretty cool. All right. Well, there you go. And since Dave Potter is at a pub tonight, I'm going to, we're going to call the captain's cabin early tonight. It's 10:22 here, 11:22 out east, 7:22, no, 8:22 left coast. And so I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. So Dave calls in. You know, it never fails. I say I'm going to stop the show and somebody calls in. Let's add him to the stream.
Who the hell would that be?
Yeah, who would that be? So what's up? How'd your meeting go?
The lodge meeting went great.
It was
How'd
a
your show
drinking
go?
lodge meeting.
How did your meeting go? Your show?
Show went just fine.
Awesome.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was just going to call it a night.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking maybe you would do the story of Tam O'Hare and the Horror of Ipswich, because that's a good one.
I don't have that one yet. I haven't written that one yet.
It's
The
Rollicking
Horror of
tale
Ipswich,
with the pirates and everything. And
Tam O'Hare and the Horror of Ipswich. It sounds like a good story.
no bunnies and whores.
Yeah. I could read my favorite section from Tam O'Hare, my favorite chapter.
How did you lose an entire section? Is that just in the online version?
No, this is the next book that was lost for years. And I had never finished it. And I'm reading through it, and it's missing. I think it's only missing a couple of paragraphs in there. Maybe one paragraph. Once I got further down the line, I saw it mention some of the things I thought were missing. So something was said.
I think one of my missing books is on a jazz drive.
Yeah. This is this went missing a long time back.
That's why I think it's on a jazz drive. So
yeah,
because mine went missing a long ways back too.
Yeah, I found this.
I still have the portable jazz drive, and I have the computer I used to use it on. It's just all out.
And you know what's interesting is the drive I found it on is a drive that's been in my computer the whole time I've owned it. It's one of those little flat drives that goes in the back side of the Mac.
Yep.
And I rarely look at it. It's named Baby Shark. And so I can I
the
clicked
Baby
on
Shark
that.
go?
I was looking for something and the search ended up in Baby Shark. Oh, Baby Shark, cool. So then I thought, oh, why don't I look for I was looking for an image from Tam O'Hare.
Why don't you pop in there and see if you can find a copy of the poetry book that's missing?
Oh, I don't think it's in there.
Because
This
you
is
laid it out on your InDesign. I know you kept a copy, and I just can't find it.
And yeah, this would be what did that just say? Baby Shark, 196.83 gigabytes. Available, 1.37 gigabytes. That's how much junk I have on Baby Shark. Let's see. There's nothing Potter in here. I've got
also looking for the children's book, The Giant Who Came to Tea.
I don't think I ever saw that one.
One that I talked to you about illustrating at one time.
Yeah, like 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's why I think it should be on some old drive.
Yeah, there's an old drive that I lost out at the ranch, which was 2008 to 2010. Lost it, meaning it went bad out there. And I lost a lot of old stuff off of that. But on this disc, I have Adventure
you're at the
Town.
Portland
The
house
folders
when we
are
did this.
Adventure Town Communique, Annette Fennern, Andy Dabbs, Basil Winthorpe, another client, Betsy, Finfolk, History Trippers, Intrepid Mag, Intrepid Radio, Intrepid Paradigm Proposal, Italia, my agent, Movies, Rocky Stucci, Scotty, Scotty's Picks, Screenshots, Shirt Overflow, Silsila, and Triad.
Shirt overflow, is that a Rainy file?
Yeah. Bada boom. No, yeah, it's shirt designs. Hey, Andrea Malnix, if you're still out there, I happen to find a file that has some old shirts I designed for you when we were out on the ranch. Something about a buckaroo, a bucking bronco, and another one was a Spanish something. I've got those shirt designs are still in my files that we were working on way back then. So I did want to see here. What movies do I have in here?
So we have we're going to be doing a big Mardi Gras dinner coming up for the lodge after I'm done being master and go back to being chef, which I'm super excited about.
Right
and I said a Mardi Gras dinner. I'll have to see if the Olsen girls are available.
Yeah, they could jump out of the cake.
But I was thinking all those beads and everything.
Yeah, why not? Oh, I found some videos, Lost in the Desert with John Ward.
Just wait till the little ones are old enough to go out and drink, and you're going to come home on some Mardi Gras night.
Are you not hearing me talk?
6 tons of beads, and you're going to be like, oh my God.
Nice.
Just like your mother.
So here, I'm going to maybe import a video or two here. This could be interesting. Let's see what we got. Video file. I'm going to bring a video file up. Let's see. It's over here on Macintosh Baby Shark and movies. And let's see what we got here. The Southern Desert. Let's see what this one says.
Hey folks, Scotty Roberts here. I am once again on another day, now out in the desert on the southern side. And away to the
south. Gotta have an Errol Flynn from
Wyatt behind me. And of course the cultivated fields and the orchards down there. There's bananas in there and all kinds of things. You can see way in the background a city. I believe that's the outskirts of Comombo. And down there, of course, you see the River Nile.
Yes, Matthew.
Behind me. And that's why all this green is here.
There's the Nile River back there.
Into the desert. And if you just take a look at the landscape around me, you get an idea what this is like. If I just start walking that way, right there, right over there, I'll be in the Sahara Desert. So we're on the fringes of it right here on the Nile anyway. So just wanted to give you a beautiful shot of this. Once more, around the horn. You can see out there. And I've got water in my pack today, so I'm good. John's over there, wandering somewhere. We'll find him. Later.
Okay, there's that one.
You kind of have that look of Errol Flynn in the movie Kim.
Yeah, I expect it was a little skinnier back then. You know, it wasn't that long ago either. It was like, that was like 5 years ago. 5 or 6 years ago. No, the last time I was in Egypt was 2016. And that was the last trip. So that would have been 6 years ago. Did I do my math right? 6 years ago. Let's see. There was another video file in here. This is from, I believe, the same trip, or this might have been a year earlier. This is Lost in the Desert with John Ward. Here we go.
So, brother, here we are in the desert.
No, same year.
You're picking up stones.
They're raisins.
And raisins. He's found raisins. Why? Don't you have any food?
We can make fruit cake.
You know, if you stomp on those,
we can make fruit cake.
We could possibly make wine.
I think I'm just going to lay here and
You have any water? No. Know where my water is?
On the donkey.
On the donkeys. On Sabra's back. Here. See any donkeys anywhere?
It is with stones such as these that we shall win back our fortune.
Really? Let's see. Oh, you plant those, it'll grow a big, giant
stone
thing.
And we will climb.
We can climb that, and there'll be water.
And we'll find ducks.
Here. Look. Do you see behind me? Anybody see Sabra? You see the mules?
Is this your penis?
That's where it went.
There you go.
Shoo!
I knew you had a strap, a bit like Sentiment.
Something like that. What else you got?
It's your secondary penis.
No, that's not mine. It's far too big. Oh, you found yours.
I found mine.
It's got all kinds of warts and blemishes all over it, and pottery. You sure you don't have any water?
No, I have no
water.
I've got two.
Look, there's penises all over here.
Penises everywhere.
You would think that they were hand carved. Penis
Where's the
Scotty.
antiquities guy to grab those back and say, you cannot take those.
Folks, if we ever get anywhere, that's maybe got water and food and supplies. Here, stop. Just do a quick 180 with me, or 360. Here, we're turning 360. You can see that's where we are. And how'd you get over on that side of me?
I've become all dizzy.
I have too. There you are. Okay, well, we're gonna go that way and see what we can find. All right. Talk to you later.
Follow the steps of Hapu.
And end up being not Moses and not in the promised land.
Ha.
We're out of here.
So, just in case you were wondering, we did make it out of the desert. So,
hey folks, Scotty.
We weren't really lost.
And
oops, we weren't really lost. Just we had 14 archaeologists with us and a herd of mules or donkeys carrying all our packs. All of a sudden, everybody's gone. John and I stopped at a rock formation, and we were looking at old inscriptions, and we look up an hour later, and everybody's gone. Nobody waited for us. So, we made it back. We were fine. So, that was kind of fun to find. I might have one more.
We should have waited for the white men. No, they're fine.
No. Let's see if I got another one in here. I may have one more in here. Yeah, something different.
None of these are my book.
Lost in the Desert, Living Backward, Decent Coffee. Oh, that was John Ward mocking me, my coffee. I do have, let me see what this one is. Oh, here. The Paradigm Symposium promo for 2015. How about that? Let's watch that just for shits and giggles. Hey, good morning, folks. It's Scotty Roberts here. Unedited, unrehearsed, pre-shaven, pre-showered,
just like his shows
sun
today.
just rising, still drinking my cup of coffee video. Morning coffee, you gotta love it. But I want to talk to you for just a minute about the Paradigm Symposium. If you've not gotten your tickets for the Paradigm Symposium, now's a great time. Go to our website, ParadigmSymposium.com, and avail yourself of some tickets for the event. This is an event unlike any other. I like to say this is less about sitting and just listening to lectures than it is sitting at the feet of the great thinkers of our day. No, we printed up you're tickets into that year. Alternative science, fringe history, alternative origins, metaphysics,
This was
ufology,
2014
all
or
of these things
2015,
are
I don't
things that
remember.
we
Are
look
you
at,
in the
and you
boat
get to sit
in
at the
Egypt,
feet
or
of
are
the
you in your
people who are some of the
garage?
prime
I'm in my
thinkers
garage.
of our day
Oh,
in these
okay, okay.
fields.
I'm looking at
So
a tiny
come get your
picture. I
tickets.
thought
And
you
by the
were
way,
inside the boat on
if
the
you help
Nile.
share this video, get the word out there, these 2 tickets could be yours. Anybody who likes and shares this video right on the ticket will have their name put in a drawing to win these 2 tickets for the Paradigm We Symposium.
um,
had them printed
Oh,
and
you'll wanna
numbered.
come.
If you don't know much about the symposium, go to ParadigmSymposium.com or ask anybody else who's been there here on Facebook, and they'll give you their honest opinion of the Paradigm Symposium. So come join us. Be a part of an amazing event this year, October 1st through the 4th in Minneapolis. Go to ParadigmSymposium.com, or you know what?
I wish
Just
I had
come
my
talk
hair
to me.
again.
You can call me at 651-486-6666.
468-8115. I'll
just
pick
wish
up
I
my
had my
phone and I'll
color
talk
again.
to you. Or
Yeah,
you can
the
message me
color would
right
be
here on
nice.
Facebook. So looking
get
forward
my
to
color
having you at the
back.
Paradigm Symposium.
You're screwed.
And now I'm going to go take a shower,
Got my color in
comb
a
my
bottle.
hair, and get shaved. And of course, have more coffee. Thanks for listening.
How's that for an impromptu ad read with no
Beautiful,
script?
darling. Beautiful.
Beautiful, darling. And I thought I had something else cool in here, but I'm not sure. Just got to avoid the porn videos. Oops, not that one. I didn't mean to play that one. Chicka, chicka, bow, bow. Let's see. Living backward. Well, that's something I did for my
We'll always
my
do that, but I've
YouTube.
never heard
Here's
that
a-
music in a porn.
This is a good. No, it isn't. I don't like this. What's this one? Oh, Singing with Flynn. Rainey was filming that.
Giant
We
who
are
came
not going to
to
watch
tea.
that.
That's what we're looking for.
Here, this one, this is a promo I did for a guy. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this is John and Maria's site. I'm on the boat on the Nile River with the Speas of Horemheb behind me. And I was doing a promo for somebody who ended up being kind of a dick and ripped off a lot of people. So I'm not going to play it and give his name, but unless it pops in right at the beginning. Here we go.
Hey folks, this is Scotty
Gebel
Roberts. I'm the
Silsila.
publisher of Intrepid magazine. We have the Paradigm Symposiums and also History Trippers. And I want to tell you that I stand with Matthew Virgin and the Taylor Page Foundation in their endeavor to build better families for a better future tomorrow. The Taylor Page Foundation is involved with all sorts of issues that affect families, from domestic violence,
Chuck Henriksen
child
said, "I don't
protection
need
issues,
hair. He's
better
living
education
proof.
for children,
You have
eradication
some
of
devil of a
child
man.
Needs
poverty.
hair when you got a great hat.
Their goal is to
Yeah, who
protect
needs hair when you got a
children
great hat?
worldwide and to bring families together, raising standards for
was on
children
our,
so that all children can live
at
safe
Gebel
and productive.
Silsila. So I'm going to take that down. So I don't give any more credence, lend any more credence to this guy. I just read a sponsorship for him was what I did, and he was a putz.
Oh, wow.
So
Water off the back of a duck.
that's it. That's pretty much
Well in the
it.
past.
Movie events. Hatshepsut. Oh, this is kind of good. Now, this is interesting. I was doing this. I don't know if I ever put voiceover to this or not, but this is, I don't even know if we can watch it. Let's find out. Whoops. It looks like your file doesn't have a video track. Oh, well, a video would certainly play a lot better if it had a video track, huh? Let's see what else we got in here. In our movies.
Giant who came to tea.
The guy who came to tea?
The giant who came to tea.
I don't have it.
Karen feeding of the human heart.
Cachet. Hold on. Movie Cachet. What is this one? This is 233 megabytes. Let's find out. Nope, it doesn't have a video track. That's really weird. Okay.
White baba beans aren't good with liver.
That sounds like a good kid's book. I'd read it. Decent coffee. You know what might be kind of fun in here? If you guys haven't seen it. Let's see if it's in here. Looking for it. I know this isn't real interesting, but it's better than anything that's in my brain right now. Here we go. Ha-ha. Now, if you have never seen the History Trippers sizzle reel, as they used to call them, a presentation reel that John Ward and I did for my agent who was presenting our television show, History Trippers. And that's the show where it never got picked up, but we sure got a lot of awesome rejections. One of the best rejection letters we got was from the CEO of National Geographic Television. He said to my agent, he says, I absolutely love these two, but we're not buying this kind of show right now. Circle back around in about 6 months, which we never did because John got pretty busy on his side. And we got that similar kind of reaction from the History Channel. History Channel loved it, but they weren't doing history shows. Go figure. At that time.
I love that.
You know what was playing on History Channel?
MTV turned down our music video too because they aren't playing music anymore.
Oh, yeah. And they had something like Swamp Hillbillies Wrestling Alligators was one of their big series at this year. I said, you guys need to step up your history game. Well, here you go. This was pay attention to this if you're interested, folks, if you haven't seen it. This is the sizzle reel we did to promote History Trippers. Here we go.
Welcome to History Trippers.
My name is Scotty Roberts. I'm an historian and the publisher of Intrepid magazine.
And I am Dr. John Ward, Editor-in-Chief of Intrepid magazine and British archaeologist.
The world is full of historical mysteries out there.
And we're going to bring them to you
through adventure. You're right, Andrea. We went out to the ranch and rode some of Andrea's horses to film, which appear for a whole split second in this trailer. I'm an explorer, I'm a researcher, I want to know things. As the publisher of Intrepid magazine, it's really my passion to go out there and find stories that appeal to me. I've always said when I publish Intrepid, I do the things I like to do. This is all about what I love. We're going to leave the textbooks far behind and take you to all the ancient sites, from ancient culture to ancient culture, from continent to continent.
as well as the history that lays within our own cities, hidden in plain sight. I'm an archaeologist working at Gebel El Sasila in Upper Egypt. Foremost though, I'm a researcher and historian, having traversed the deserts of Egypt, having lived and worked there for 12 years in the ancient landscape.
And this was the capital that was established for about 110 years by the Hyksos. And these ruins that you see here now, these are actually mud brick structures that have melted, disintegrated over the years. Going out there and looking for answers and looking for all that stuff that lies beneath. That's what drew me to John in the first place, is that he and I are both after those answers.
There they are.
Oh, that's it.
Now,
that here at the end too, the horses.
Inside a major museum.
To say the least, I mean, that is the only experience that most of the general public have. They come to see the artifacts on display, and they only saw two, and one of them was inaccurate.
And that's why we are taking you outside the museum. We're going to go to the sites and show you things hands-on.
I met Scotty through our co-authorship of the Exodus Reality, a book of Moses and the Great Exodus that took place. We both had differing opinions and theories, even though Scotty's was flawed, of course.
You know, John Ward has become my closest friend. I love this man dearly.
Making mud brick.
And I think I'm drawn to his love for history, his love of knowledge. He's been a mentor to me, and I learned from him.
You'll see that we've got the preserved colours here. That's because the Christians literally put a plaster finish over the whole temple. What do I love about Scotty? Okay, nothing. Sorry, was that too much of the truth?
He's a bit of a dick sometimes.
What I love about Scotty is that he personifies the other half of my character, which, unfortunately, as an academic and scholar, I can't readily show to the general public. He has that freedom to explore ancient mysteries and the occult side, the paranormal, the ufology. But hopefully we can change all that and bridge the gap between academia and the alternative communities. Editor-in-chief of
In-chief.
What's an in-chief?
Don't question it.
Do you want feathers coming out the back of my head?
John and I work really well together. We play off of each other very well. We sometimes can't even figure out who's the straight man and who's the fall guy. My name is Scotty Roberts. I forgot what I am. There's this thing about John being a bit of a poncy British git. I mean, look at him. He's got a cravat. The man wears a cravat and drapes an umbrella over his arm.
Yeah, I did a sword right there.
Yeah. And I'm Dr. John Ward, editor-in-chief of Intrepid magazine.
I'm not American.
And
I do
an
not
archaeologist.
sensationalize. What annoys me about
His
Scott,
sound was bad
it
on
gets
that.
under my cravat.
I am not American. I do not sensationalize.
His inability to make decent coffee, I suppose.
John is such a perfectionist at times. I'm like, John, just calm down. Don't be so stiff and
That's why we love it.
There's very, very little actually that annoys me about Scotty. He's a great man, really, truly. I love the man to bits. For years, media has produced an explosion of armchair wannabe archaeologists and explorers. What Scotty and I want to do is inspire you to leave that armchair.
we're on an adventure together. We're learning things together. We're finding out new information together. And we just want you to come along for the ride. And we're going to bring it to you.
Okay, come do it again.
Baldrick. All right.
There you go. That was that. I don't see Tom Selleck and John. I saw there was somebody else he looked like.
Tom Selleck? Who said that?
Well, it was Barbie D.
Oh,
Does
really?
anyone else see a little Tom Selleck and John? I don't see Tom Selleck. He's too skinny. So he never hits me that way, Barbie. I'm trying to think. There is somebody that I used to think that he looked an awful lot like. Now I can't think of it. Oh, well. But he made Maria swoon, so that's all that matters.
Well, there you go.
So, Maria looks like Ingrid Bergman in her finest days. So, let's see. I wonder if this series is online that I can. No, it's not on, Matthew. That series never happened. That was we were filming a sizzle reel, a trailer to present to producers, and it never got picked up.
Like
So,
billions of other shows.
like billions of other shows cast in the slush
It's
pool.
crazy how many shows are put together, even completely shot for first episodes and never see
Yeah.
the light of day.
Yeah.
I used to
And
make
I've been
my whole living
associated
in
with a
Hollywood
couple of-
shooting pilots.
Yes. Thank you, Cordia. I appreciate that.
I've shot more
yeah,
pilots than the Taliban.
it's not a big
Ba-dum-bum.
deal, Matthew. It was a big deal when it happened, and it dragged out because people approached my agent. We didn't just make this and go out looking. There were a couple of producers. They had produced shows like Big Brother and a couple of other shows that you recognize that I now have long since forgotten. This was in 2014. So 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, they approached my agent, John's and my agent, and said, "We like these guys. How would you think about putting them in a series in Egypt?" And yeah, well, they liked it. She liked it, of course. And so we devised a series, and we went all out and put together 26 episodes just in the writing stage to propose it. And even though they'll only pick you up even if they liked you, they might pick you up for 6 to 8 episodes to see how it fares on television. And if they like you, then they might give you another 13 episodes, is the way it kind of works, which is half a season. So we got nothing out of that. But we had all that footage because we'd been to Egypt so much. And he lived there, so there you go. So that was a lot of fun. Doing that, putting it together. But so the series isn't out there, Matthew. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to deceive. So it might have done, I think it would have done really well on TV. But, there was another factor. The original producers got a little bit nervous about Egypt. This is 2014. This is back at the time where, the Libyans, kidnapped the 30 Egyptians, dragged them over to Libya and cut their heads off on the beach. And it was all in the news, and all the stuff with the Taliban and getting
the
into
Muslim
ISIS,
Brotherhood and all that stuff.
Muslim Brotherhood. So Arab Spring.
In fact, you were over there during one of the things in Cairo.
Yeah, my first trip there was 2013, and we were staying in a little hotel, kind of
pretty creepy.
It was very. I want to say it was like a seedy hotel in downtown Cairo. Old section of downtown Cairo. All look, think of buildings out of the late 1800s. That's what this building was. But even though it was a little seedy, it had ambiance coming out the ass. It was an amazing old
character,
hotel.
darling. We call it character.
Yes. Please send Shahid in with my tea. I'm ready. But we were 2 blocks from Tahrir Square, which is the central focal point of a lot of the terrorist activity there, and the seat of government and so on. And there had been a riot there the night before. And we didn't hear any of it in our hotel 2 blocks away. But we went out driving the next day to go to the Cairo Museum. And there was, you look down the street, and there were bombed out cars. We didn't hear any bombs go off, but burned out cars probably from the stuff the night before. And then we got to the Cairo Museum, and they had locked it down for the day. So John said to the driver, he said, let's take us back to the hotel. Let's go home. And he said right away, he said, let's drive down to, or go catch our flight down to Luxor, which is about a half-hour flight. And it's 400 or 500 miles to the south. And he said, let's get out of Dodge. He said, if you don't want, John Ward said so many times, if you don't want trouble, you don't go where trouble is. And so he said, let's boogie out. And so we got out of Cairo that same day. And it was pretty chaotic there, Matthew. So, but, it didn't last long, El-Sisi was elected and everybody liked him.
Yeah.
Still is. He still is.
He and Maria once talked to me about coming along on the expedition as their personal chef.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there on their porch drinking tea and coffee that morning and chatting about it. And I said, I don't know, John. I said, all that screaming and shouting and yelling and the bloodshed and all of that. And he goes, it's very peaceful where we're at. I said, no, I'm talking about me.
Yeah. Truth.
I think I would lose my shit there.
Yes. Well, we what was it that we never saw any violence. When I went to Luxor for the first time, there is a downtown bustling Luxor, but the buildings there, first of all, you're not like in a major city because there's no tall buildings there. They're all 1 and 2 and maybe 3-story buildings, from what I could tell. In the downtown district, and they were narrow streets and lots of traffic, but lots of traffic I would compare the size of Luxor to maybe the size of, I don't know, I'm trying to make a comparison. like a small city. Think of Rochester. Not even that big. But maybe Rochester isn't so small anymore. But anyway, we were there, and everybody, we'd be walking down the street, and the Egyptians, they would stop us on the street, and he goes, he'd see my fedora, and he goes, "You American?" I go, "Yes." He goes, "Cowboy." And I go, "Yeah, yippee-ki-yay," I said. And it's a different kind of hat, but I'm not going to explain it to him. And he says, "We are happy you are here. We love you. We love America. Welcome. Welcome to Egypt. Welcome to Luxor. Welcome, welcome." We got that everywhere we went. And, of course, John lived there, so he shopped there and stuff. He was recognized around there. And it was a very nice place. So I really enjoyed being there. I actually looked into moving my family over there after the 2013 trip. John and Maria and I and Rainey were talking about possibly moving into the same house they're in on the next floor up. And which is the way the Egyptians would build houses, the families. They'd build a house, and then they'd build the next floor up, the next floor. And if you look at some of the pictures of the cityscapes, you see lots of like rebar beams coming out of all around the tops of the houses. Well, that's because they keep building up. And it's the family that starts the house. Then as they get older, they give their kids the ground floor, and they move up a floor. And then as the grandkids, they move up a floor, and they move up a floor, and the grandkids grow and get the bottom floor. So, yeah, like kind of like built on ruins, but not really. So that's kind of how
I think that's how Trump built Trump Tower.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. So anyway, well, there you go, folks. It's now almost 11 o'clock. We're shy by about 3 minutes. And so where I was going to end the show about 40 minutes ago. Oh, excuse me. See, now I yawn as if on cue. As if on cue.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. But Dave called, and I could have just ignored him.
That's me.
That's me. And so I could have ignored him.
Kind of like a voice in the dark.
Yeah, you are. A voice in the dark with a steering wheel.
But it's a good jingle and a great ring.
Yeah. Is that my ring that's missing?
No, it's mine.
All right. Dave, I'm going to let you go. You drive safe.
I will.
Talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
We'll be out at the festival site. So you have a good day. Good evening tomorrow. See you later.
Bye.
Boom. All right, folks. That's it. This is the end of our time at Odyssey. We're moving on to Subspace Radio, subspace.radio for the audio. And right here is same as ever for this program. We're just moving over to a new station, and probably have Russ on Monday night. We'll see what happens. And we're working on some good interviews already and some good new things. And but tomorrow there will be no show. Spread the word. There is no show tomorrow. But we are going to try to do some live streams, both here on YouTube and on the Facebook page. And if it's not right at 9, it'll be as close as we can be to try to get a live stream. And we'll do some earlier in the evening before the sun goes down too, and hit some of the stages out there and show you where we're going to be for after the show doing the ghost hunt. So there we go. That's all I got, guys. So you have a good night. Thank you for being here. And let us, as the curtain drops on our Odyssey Radio sojourn, just send you off on your way. Live long and prosper.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.